Hi again. This is Sharon Gilzine with the second episode in the brief series of podcasts on how modern technology can be used to address issues of equity, diversity, and inclusion in the classroom. In the first podcast, I gave an overview that included definitions of equity, diversity, and inclusion, the use of podcasts as an audio tool, modern technology, in the classroom, as well as the role that teacher reflection plays in navigating and negotiating the classroom space to ensure equity, diversity, and inclusion. Upon reflection, was I truly equitable or inclusive in the use of a podcast to get to my diverse target audience? In this case, no. My target audience occupies the online classroom and communicates virtually on an almost daily basis like I do, yet I did not consider one significant segment of my online learners, or so it would seem. Who am I referring to? Yes, it is my learners who are deaf or hearing impaired, but can see. How can I use modern technology to include them in quote-unquote listening to this or other podcasts and not feel excluded or experience feelings of inequity just because they're different? I slowly came to the realization that there are at least two ways that they could access any podcast without a lot of difficulty. They could access the speech-to-text feature by downloading software like Otter AI or other such application on their device and upload the podcast so that they can read what is being said. Secondly, the teacher facilitator may use the YouTube option for podcasts. Enable the Open Transcripts tab after following other instructions, and the readable version of the podcast transcript will appear on the screen. A background picture of the teacher, facilitator, or other selected image may be used to enhance the podcast if the YouTube is used in this manner. Indeed, there are other assistive technologies that can be employed to include this special segment of the population and may include closed captioning when doing videos, to allow persons with hearing impairments to view television programs, movies, and other digital media. There is also computer software and hardware that facilitate persons with both mobile and sensory impairments to use voice recognition programs, screen readers, and screen magnifiers within the ambit of their capabilities. Just to elucidate, assistive technology describes the devices, equipment, and software that help disabled people live more independently in their daily lives at work, study, or play. All students will benefit and have been benefiting from using podcasts enhanced in this way to read or listen to assignments, follow instructions, receive important information, and generally get involved in various activities as technology is integrated in the learning environment. According to Rose et al. 2018, technology continues to evolve and transform learning and education for students with disabilities. In their article discussing the similarities and differences between assistive technology and UDL, Universal Design for Learning, Rose et al. 2005 concluded that universal designs benefit disabled and able-bodied persons alike, and that assistive technologies make universal designs more effective. Indeed, the use of UDL principles in the classroom, which includes everything that I have just spoken about today, when used by every teacher or facilitator reduces the risk of excluding anyone. It helps the teacher facilitator to be more mindful of the diversity of their students and the need to treat them all in an equitable way, regardless of ability or lack thereof. Of course, in my next podcast, I will speak more about the use of universal design for learning principles and how other types of technology can be used to promote equity, diversity, and inclusion in the classroom. Take care and tune in next time for the third in this series of podcasts. Bye now.